There we go. All right, so again, in the chat, just put your questions, and I'll be moderating the chat and presenting this at the same time. And once I share my screen, I want you to know that your screen is gonna go into full screen. And if you're wanting to work alongside me, now that you're in full screen, you wanna make sure that you go on your computer and click escape. That usually does the trick. And then you could keep the presentation window on one side and your browser on the other. Or you could just watch the entire presentation and go back later since I'm recording it. And then the other thing you can do if escape isn't working, just go up to the right-hand corner of your screen and click exit full screen. And then you'll be able to have both your browser and the presentation going at the same time. So let's go ahead and get started here. This is the link for the presentation. And as soon as let me get to the chat real quick. I need to see what you guys are saying. All right, here we go. Nobody's saying anything yet. So once I click to the next slide, the link is gonna disappear. So I'm gonna put it in the chat for you so that if there's anyone who comes in late, they have access to it. So it's bit.ly/CNUSD slides. So, and it is case sensitive, so CNUSD slides is lowercase. And as soon as you can copy that link and put it into your browser or just type it in, you'll have a copy of the slide presentation. So now I'm gonna go ahead and click and move forward. Like always, we're gonna keep our mics muted until I ask you to unmute yourself. You might have asked a question and I need clarification behind that so I can answer it more thoroughly. So we'd really appreciate it if we just keep our mics muted. These are our 3 items that we're going to go over and learn today. The first one is inserting links in slides. You may already know how to do that. I'm going to show you maybe some other things you didn't know about with inserting links in slides. And then whatever I show you how to insert the links in the slides also transfers to inserting links in like an email. So it's the same idea behind it. So I'm going to show you that. The next thing, and this is going to be the biggest part of the presentation, will be learning how to edit the master. So if you've ever edited the master in a PowerPoint, it is the same, but I'm gonna show you how you can leverage that ability to make interactive slides for your students so that your students can do activities on the slides. And then finally, we're gonna wrap it up with learning how to work with Google Drawings. So learning how to make a Google Drawing that is a template that you can use as an image in the background of a slide. And that's how you get that interactive piece going. So those are the 3 items we're gonna go over today. And moving right along, we don't have any questions so far. I've been having a lot of delay with my slides today, so I'm just gonna apologize in advance. Yeah, see, I clicked that too many times and now it finally moved, but it moved way far forward. Okay, here's where we are. So the first thing we're gonna start off with adding links in Google Slides. So this basically is a step-by-step. I'm just gonna walk you through it and then I'm gonna demonstrate it. So you have your Google slide deck open and then the link that you want the students to click in the slide deck and it takes them somewhere, you have that link copied. So let's say it's a website. So you grab the link from the website and you go back to the text. The text could be click here, it could be unit 1, could be a whole sentence, but you're gonna highlight the text. And then you're gonna go up to the top and you're going to click on that little link icon. And when you click on the link icon, it gives you a box that you can paste the link into. And then you're just gonna click apply. And once you do that, the words are now linked. So when you click on it, it takes them to the link that you provided for them. You can also do this with images. If you add an image to a slide and you select the image, you can also go up to the link icon and insert the link. Now, if you're like me and you like shortcut keys, I use Control-K. That is the shortcut key for inserting a link. So I'll highlight the words, then I do Control-K, or if you're on a Mac, Command K, and then you paste the link in. It'll give you the box. You paste the link in, and you click enter or apply, and it's linked. So for those of you who like those shortcut keys, that is the shortcut key for inserting links. Also, you may not know this, but you can link to other slides in the slide deck. So I know a lot of teachers have like 15 slides, and it might have introductory material and then an activity and then more building on that concept and then another activity. What you could do is create a table of contents slide. And in the table of contents, you would write what, like activity 1, activity 2, activity 3, and then link activity 1 to the slide where activity 1 is. So you can also link slides within a slide deck. It's pretty powerful. And then finally, you might not know this, but you can also put links in the speaker notes. And you'll see in this slide deck particular, there are a lot of links in the speaker notes of resources that I'm giving to you that will add to the tutorial that you have here, plus all the other things you might need while you're doing some of the work. So you can also put those links in for the students. So I'm gonna go ahead and escape the presentation. It doesn't want me to. Here we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate for you what that looks like. So okay, here we are. So I'm gonna go ahead, it's just really slow. I cannot figure out why. So I'm in my Google Drive. I already have a little slide presentation ready to go for us. So I'm gonna open that. For you guys, if you want, just open a brand new slide presentation. And I'm gonna demonstrate how to insert a link. So I'm gonna come up here to right below File to add a slide, and I'm gonna hit the drop down because I want a blank slide. That's how I can pick which layout. And then I'm just gonna insert a text box. And in the text box, I'm gonna type the words, click here. And now I've got my words, I need my link. So let's go over here and grab a link. We'll get this site right here. Oh, how cute. So now I want this link. It's the address to the site, right? So I want this. In Google, you just have to click once and it highlights the whole thing. You don't have to click here and then go drag your mouse and highlight it. You don't have to do that. Google just makes it super easy for you. Whoops, I clicked on the picture. So all you have to do is click once and bam, the whole thing's highlighted. I'm gonna use my shortcut keys again. Control-C is copy or Command-C. So I'm gonna go ahead and do Control-C or Command-C. It's copied. I'm gonna go back to my slide presentation. And like it says in the directions, you wanna highlight the word and then you wanna find that link icon. There it is. And you can see it also gives you the shortcut key. I'm on a Mac, so it's Command. And then I can paste the link right here. But notice right underneath it, remember I was saying you could also link to slides. So that's right there also. We're just gonna paste the link though. So Control V is paste or Command V. I know it seems like it should be Control P, but Control P is print. So I think what they did was they just picked the key next to the C, which is V, and made that the paste key. So Command C or Control C is copy, and Command V or Control V is paste. So I pasted it in there. I can just click enter on my keyboard or just click apply and ta-da, it is linked. So now when the kids open it, they click here, here's their link, and they click on the link and it takes them right to the site. So that's how you link text. How do you link an image? Well, let's insert an image and see. So we'll go to my drive and search for, how about a Bitmoji? Don't judge, I do have a folder with Bitmojis because I do so many of these slide decks. I like to just have them handy. Okay, so here's my image. And I've even seen a lot of teachers just put like 3 images on a slide and each image is linked to different parts of the slide presentation or to a different Google Doc or to a site. So that's something you can do too. You kind of have to train the kids to do that though. So you'd put like directions, click on the images below. or believe it or not, the kids get this. They get it better than we do, better than our parents do. They're just, it's their life. It's how they work. So to link an image, you want to make sure you click on it to select it. And then again, you just go up to the little link icon and paste in your link and click apply. And now this one is linked. So we have an image linked and we have text linked. I also mentioned that you could link in your speaker notes. So you could just type in some text and highlight it just like we did up there. I'm gonna use the shortcut keys this time. So Control K or Command K gives me my box. Command or Control V pastes it, and Enter saves it. So now I have this one linked. I can click on it. It's the same link. I want to show you something pretty spectacular. If you already know that you could do all of this linking stuff and you're like, yeah, okay, right, whatever, you might not know about this next trick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my slide and I'm going to change the size of it to the size of a piece of paper. I'm going to change it to 8.5 by 11. And you ask, Ronnie, why would you do that? I'll show you. So I'm going to click on File and go down almost to the bottom to Page Setup. And this is the default for a Google slide. It's a 16:9 ratio. So I'm going to click on that. Come on. There we go. And I'm going to click on Custom. And I'm going to change it. You can see it's in inches. You could change this to centimeters, points, pixels. There are uses for all of that. I can tell you about that later. And then 11 and apply. So teachers do this all the time. The reason why they do it, because when the student is working, let's say there's a table here and it's not super easy to see it, they can go over here to View and click on 100%, and they can see everything much better. So in the directions, it'll say best viewed at 100% or best viewed at 200%. So let's go ahead and go back. We were right here. And this is our 8.5 by 11. I can put directions and images and links and all kinds of stuff on the side by entering a text box. So here's my text box. I can write my directions. So let me change the font size so it's easier for you to see. Wow, I cannot type right now. And then I could put all my directions. After my directions, I might have a click here, and I highlight it just like I did before, and I use Command or Control K, V, Enter. And now I have a link in the side to add to whatever the students are working on. Now I'm going to show you another way of making an interactive slide where you can add images here, and the students use the images to demonstrate mastery or just to complete the task that you've put in front of them. So this, if you didn't know you could do this before, you definitely can do this. And it's super exciting. It really just takes the things that you're working on and doing and just expands it. You guys are all experts in your grade level and in your subject matter. So I'm sure right now you're like, oh my gosh, I could do blah, blah, blah. So I'm just gonna undo all of this because I want it back to the 16:9. So that shortcut key that I was just using like crazy is Control Z or Command Z, which is undo. And that is your friend because we make mistakes all the time. All right, so let's go back to our slide presentation. We don't seem to have any questions about links. And we're gonna get into Edit the Master. So there are 3 things I'm gonna show you with Edit the Master. When you edit the master, you can change the font, you can change the font size and the entire layout by editing the master. You can add your own slides to make your own theme. So if you're wanting to really change it up and make it your own, you can do that. And then I'm gonna show you how to insert images and GIFs in slides so that it's in the background and the kids can't touch it and you're just simply creating your own template. So let's go back to our practice template here. And the way you get to edit the master, if you were looking on that last slide, is up here in your toolbar, you have one of your options is slide. So you click on slide and you go almost to the bottom to edit the master, edit master. So we'll click there. And now we're in the layout. So even if you're using those fancy slides from slidescarnival.com, slidesmania, slidesgo, and I put links, by the way, in that edit the master. I put links for all of those in the speaker notes on that slide. And also in there is a folder full of templates that you can use that I've created and given you access to. So I want to show you how and why you would edit your master. So these are your layouts, right? And you can do this even in the fancy stuff that you get. These are all the slides you get with this layout. This first one right here is your master slide. It dictates what happens to the layout. So we're going to click on this. It's going to be framed in blue when we select it. And we're going to change the font. So I'm just going to click on it once. And when you click on it once, it highlights the whole thing. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to Ribeye, one of my favorite title fonts. I don't know why I like it. It's just cute, but still professional. Anyway, I clicked on it and I made it Ribeye. Look what happened to the layout. All of the title slides, that is now the font. So that's how you can change the font. I could also change the size if I wanted to by clicking back here, and maybe instead of 28, I want it to be 30. So then it reflects that change all the way down in the layout. Now, let's say I want to change the body font. How many of you are making slides and you hate Arial, you're sick of Arial, so every time you create a text box, you go up and you change the font? You don't have to do that. You can change the font once and for all just by clicking on your master. So we'll click here on the body font. Okay, now it's gonna play, there we go. And you wanna click up here and drag it down. Sometimes it gets tricky. So you have to click somewhere else and then drag it up and then down. I don't know why, it's just kind of wonky. So I'm gonna click here, oh, it worked that time. So you drag your cursor down, holding your mouse down, select all of the font, or all of the text, I mean, go up here to the font, and then choose the font that you want the body text to be. So now, if you look on all my layout, all of the slides have reflected the changes I made in Edit the Master. Let's say I don't want the background to be white. Maybe I want to have a color background. Or maybe I would like to have an image in the background. We're just going to play around with color right now. So we'll go gradient because that's kind of fancy. And let's see, we'll make it this bluish color. And click done, and you'll see all of the slides are now the bluish color. So whatever you do in the master is reflected in all the other slides. So I'm going to undo that. Now what I want to show you, so what about when you click insert a text box? Okay, Alyssa, I'm going to show you that in a minute. Let me show you how you can create your own. Oh, you mean when you insert a text box now? So if I go back to blank, watch, you're right, it does. It applies it to everything now. So if I go here to blank and I insert a text box and I type, oops, let me click on the text box. Come on. There we go. It's now in the outer one, which was my body text. So it applies it to everything when you're in Edit the Master. Good question. So now what I want to show you is, let's say you have one of the slides in the layout. So when you change the slides in the layout, it's just that slide. When you edit the master, it's all of them. So let's say I've got this. I like my font. It looks good. I don't want this bland gray color. If I click on it, I don't want to click on the text box. I want to click out here. And now you can see I've selected the gray box behind it. When they created this template, all they did was they took a blank slide and they put a box on half of it. And then they entered these placeholders. And I'll show you how you do that. But if I want to just change this color, I come to this little bucket right here. And I can change the color of the background just by clicking. So now this is the color of the background for this slide, and it'll stay that way. It won't change. So that's how you can alter just the individual slides. Now, how can you make it your own? Well, you can add your own slides. You can add your own backgrounds. And why I'm showing you this is because what I did was I made a master template of graphic organizers. So I made a slide for all the graphic organizers I use: T-chart, Frayer model, flowchart, cause and effect, Venn diagram. I had all of them in there and they became my slides that I could choose from. So then when I wanted to make a lesson that used graphic organizers, I just made a copy of this. I went up to File, Make a Copy, and I had it, and I had all of them to choose from. So let me show you how that's done. You have a blank slide, but you don't want to use your blank slide. You want to keep it blank just in case you need a blank slide. So I selected it. You can see it's framed in blue. I'm going to now copy and paste that blank slide. I'm going to make more of them. So I'm going to use my shortcut keys. I'm going to go Control C or Command C, and then I'm going to go Control Command V, 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 V. So now I have a whole bunch of blank slides that I can change and put what I want onto. So I'm not going to use the one from the theme. Again, we're going to keep that one separate. I'm going to click on the first one that I copied. And again, if I start typing on this, it will be in the font that I created from the master slide. So now I'm going to go to background, and I'm going to choose an image for my background. These are my options. I can upload an image from my computer. Maybe I have a screenshot that I took of something I found on TPT, or I know some teachers are doing worksheets, benchmark worksheets. I'm not an advocate of worksheets, just so I can put that out there. I rarely to never use worksheets, but I do understand there is a time and place. And right now it might be just simpler to use worksheets, but consider how many you're doing, because keep that student in mind at home. You know, worksheet after worksheet after worksheet. It's just not super engaging, and it's just kind of busy work. But I do understand, especially with benchmark, it is the way to go after they're reading text and whatnot. So just be careful how many worksheets you do, but you can take a screenshot and use that as the background on the slide. So, and you would be uploading that. I could also use my camera. I could use a URL. So if I know the link for the image, I could just paste the link here. You will not have photos. I'm in my personal account right now. So in CNUSD, we don't have Google Photos. So you wouldn't have that. And then Google Drive, anything you have in your Google Drive, you could upload that. And then you could also do a Google image search, which is a search of all the Creative Commons licensed images, so you're not violating any copyright laws. I'm just going to go ahead and upload something I've created in my Google Drive. So it's a T-chart. And I want to show you the use for a T-chart. So I made this in Google Draw. That's why it has the transparent background. And we're going to go over that. So I'm done. So now here's my slide. Now, if this wasn't my master, so this is we're going to pretend that I've already made this, and now I've copied it, and I want to create an activity for my kids. So in my master that I've created, I'm going to insert a text box. And I'm going to put it right here. And this is kind of a lesson for littles. So pardon me, high school, middle school, intermediate, you know, all of the teachers who teach higher grade levels. I'm sure right now your brain's kind of going crazy of all the things you can do, but I'm going to demonstrate this with a littles lesson. So I've got my blend SH, and I clicked on my text box, see the crosshairs, to select it. And I'm going to copy and paste that text box because I want it to be the same size. And then I'm going to change that to a T. So now I have a T chart with 2 blends, and I want to make this a lesson. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click. Let me delete this slide. And I'm going to insert that T-chart, because now it's part of my options. That's what I was saying. This could be a Venn diagram. This could be a Freyer model. This could be a flow chart, you know, on and on. You could just build all kinds of graphic organizers, and then you just keep copying the same slide presentation. And all you have to do is select which graphic organizer you want to use. So we're going to use this one. And the way that I show this when I'm showing teachers of littles, this exercise, basically what I want are a bunch of pictures at the bottom that have the sounds SH and TH, that the students can drag the images and sort them to demonstrate understanding of the blend. So to get those images, I just go to insert images. I search the web. It's really nice. It's right inside of Google Slides. I know it's all Creative Commons licensed, so that's how I look. Now I'm going to add 3 letters after the name of the item I'm looking for. Those 3 letters are PNG. That is a file type. It's a photo network graphic. A photo network graphic means that the background of the image is transparent. It's see-through. So I'll demonstrate what I mean by that. So here's my shell, and you can see behind it, right? So that is a PNG image. And I use those as much as I can just because it's cleaner looking. And then when the kids are sorting, if they accidentally put it on top of another image, the box around the shell doesn't cover anything up, it's see-through. So let's add another image. I'll keep my PNG there. And we'll do, how about tooth? Have the blend at the end of the word, make it a little more challenging. Resize it and put it there. So you can see I'm just grabbing images. Once I have it done, it's, you know, I can use this year after year. How about something without the TH and SH, but it still has the H blend with it? Have the kids really use their thinking skills for this one. And you might even put in the directions on this, you know, some of the images don't belong, leave them at the bottom. So now when a student clicks on this, they cannot do anything here. I'm dragging, I'm trying to delete, I'm trying to move. This is static because it's the background, it's an image. These, however, are not. They can be dragged into the spot where they're supposed to go, the corresponding spot. So let's say if you teach math, middle school, high school, up here you could put n equals 5, over here n equals 8, and then in Google Draw, which I'm going to show next, you could make those expressions, and then you download them as an image, and then those are the images you throw. So the kids are going through and solving all of these equations to figure out which ones are n equals 5 and which ones are n equals 8, or whatever it was I said. So there are a million uses for this. So do we have any questions, guys? I don't see any questions in the chat. I want to slow down and make sure that if you have any specific questions, I answer you. I know it might take a second to find the chat because you're probably navigating between Zoom and the slide. Okay, so remember when I was showing you how to make this 8.5 by 11? So I could make this 8.5 by 11 and put the images on the side. So let's do that. 8.5. Oops. And now these images right here, I want to get all of them at once. So I'm just going to click outside and drag across, and it'll select all of them. And then I can move them over here. And then if I make them bigger because they're grouped, they're all going to get bigger at the same time. Let's see, looks like I'm going to need to stretch it this way a little bit first. There we go. So now if I click outside, now they're all there and the kids can drag them in. I could also have the directions right here and maybe the images over here. So it's however you think would work best for your students. One of the teachers I was doing this with this morning said that her son is in high school and he had a poem, and the teacher wanted him to highlight areas in the poem, you know, based on the criterion she put, and then she had ovals. And so they just grabbed the oval and put it around different parts of the poem. The way she did that was she went over here to shapes and she went to circle and she just created ovals, and then it fills it automatically. So you just can make it, go to the fill bucket and make it see-through, transparent. And let's make it black, and we'll make the line a little bit thicker. So she made this oval, then she copied it, Control C or Command C, VVV, and then she had a pile of them. So it didn't look like this. She selected all of them by clicking outside of it and dragging it across, selects all of them, and then she went to arrange, align. She did top first, and then arrange, align, and center. And now it's a pile of ovals, right? And then for her highlight, all she did was made a box, or a rectangle actually. She made a rectangle that would match like the size of the font on the slide, and she filled it with a color, probably, I'm gonna guess, yellow. Now, if I drag this over here, it's gonna cover it up. So you have to make it transparent first. So you're gonna go to that fill bucket and go to custom, and then right down here is where you can make it transparent, more transparent. Click OK. So now it's a transparent color, and now you can see behind it. Then once she got the color she wanted, she did the same thing. Command C, V, 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 and she had a pile of highlighters. She went to arrange, align, top, arrange, align, center. And so now she has a pile. See, this, you could do the same thing. You could do anything. I mean, it's just like mind-blowing. It really is, all the different things you can do. So I hope some of this is useful and helpful. I'm actually going to undo all of this because I don't want my slide in a 8.5 by 11. I wanted a 16 by 9. So what did I do to do that? I said Control Z, 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 until I got to the point where actually I went too far, and then I did Control Y, which is redo. So I undid a whole bunch of times, and then when I went too far, I did Control Y for redo or command. All right, we don't have any questions. So the next thing I want to show you is how to do a Google Drawing. So Google Drawings are just like a Google slide, basically, except the background is PNG. It is transparent. That's why it's checkered. So the background is transparent. So to get to Google Drawings, it's in your Google Drive. It's not in the waffle. So you go to your Google Drive and you click on the new button with the plus sign. And at the bottom, you'll see more. And then when you go to more, you go over, you'll see Google Forms and then Google Drawings. And that's how you get to Google Drawings. First thing you want to do is give it a title. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to go to File and Page Setup, because a Google Slides default setting is 16:9 ratio. A Google Drawings default setting is 4:3 ratio. So you want to change that so it matches your Google slide. Now, if you've changed your Google slide to 8.5 by 11, you're going to want to go to custom here and change this to 8.5 by 11, just so it matches up and it looks perfect. And then once you get that set up, okay, this is not wanting to change again. There we go. If you don't want the transparent background, you can just right click on that checkerboard pattern and this will come up, and you can click on background and then choose the color you want to be instead of transparent. Anything you add on a Google Draw, you have a toolbar at the top, you'll go to Insert, and these are all the things you can add. Now there's also a shortcut toolbar. So instead of clicking on Insert, you have right here a line or an arrow. You have the different shapes, call outs, basic math symbols, you have text box, and then you have Insert Images. But if you want to insert a table, a chart, a diagram, or word art, you have to go to Insert. And then, come on, boy, this is making my life difficult. Okay, I'm just going to escape the presentation. We'll just do it, well, if it'll let me escape. There we go. Oh, now it's going to decide. Okay, so this is what I was showing. Once you create the template in Google Draw, you have to convert it to an image. And in order to convert something to a different file type, you have to download it. So if you're in a slide deck and you want the slide deck to be a PDF, you go to File, Download as PDF, and it converts it. Same thing in Google Draw. You would create your image, then you would go to File, Download as, and then you would pick an image type. And then once you do that, you can then use it as a background on your slide. So you could either do it for the single slide by going to background, or going to edit the master and going to one of those copied slides and then choose your image and add it as your background. So let me show you how to do that. So I need you to go to your Google Drive so that you can get to the new button. And if you don't have it open yet, you could just open a new tab and go to the waffle and click on Google Drive. Mine's already open, so I'm gonna go over here and I want this new button. So click on the new button and then go down to more, and there are forms and Google Drawings. So click on Google Drawings. And this is the checkered background. If I right click, there's my background. And this is where I can change it to a different color or gradient. I'm gonna keep mine transparent because I like the PNG style. So I'm gonna come up here and I'm going to title it first. And then, so if you're making a Venn diagram, I'm gonna show you right now how to make a Frayer model. So if you want, you could call it Frayer model template. Or if you just wanna play around and make a Venn diagram, you could do that also. I'm gonna go to File and do my page setup first so that when I'm creating, it's on the right size. So again, it's standard 4:3 is the default, and I wanna change it to the widescreen 16:9, which is what the Google slide is. Another difference in Google Draw compared to Google Slides, because you can do almost the same thing in both. Google Draw, of course, you can make transparent, and you can't in a Google Slide. But you also have this here where you can make the canvas as big as you want. I haven't reached a limit yet. I'm sure there is one. I guess I haven't made one too big. So, but you can drag that and make the canvas bigger and bigger. All right, so now I want to show you how to make a Frayer model. And the way I make a Frayer model is by just creating a table. So I'm going to go up here to Insert, Table, and it's a 2x2 table. So I have my table, but I need my quadrants to be bigger. So I'm going to click in the first quadrant, and I'm going to just click the Enter button until I get it to a good size. And then I'm going to use my crosshairs so I can drag it up. Notice the red line, that helps you keep things centered. And then I'm going to click in the bottom quadrant, and I'm going to click Enter again so I get them both about the same size. I think I want them just a little bit bigger, so I added a space in each quadrant. Now I'm going to move it up a little bit. Now notice I left some space at the top. That's so I have space on my Google slide to either put a title or some directions or something like that. So I always leave a space up here. So I have my table. The one thing I notice about my table is that my lines are kind of light. They're not very thick. So I want to change that. I want it to be more bold and stand out. So I'm going to click on my table, and I've selected it. When I get the crosshairs and I click, I've selected the whole table. And now I'm going to come up here. These are my two border tools. So this right here can change my border color. So let's make it like a bright blue. And now let's make it thicker. So this is my border weight. So I'm going to click here, and I'm waiting for it to respond. There we go. And I'm going to click on 3. So now I have a nice, bold Frayer model table that I can use. But I'm missing that box in the middle where you put your topic or your vocabulary word or your n equals 5. Whatever you want the students using the Frayer model for, you need a box right here. So I'm going to insert a shape. Again, Google Draw, Google Slides, you can just keep layering. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Shapes. And I like the rounded off rectangle, so I'm going to pick that one. And then I'm just going to take my crosshairs to where I want it to be approximately. And I'm just going to hold my mouse down and drag it until I get the size that I want. So I like this size. It could be a little skinnier maybe, so I have more room to type in the boxes. Now to move it so it's centered, I can just hold my mouse down and I'll get my red lines indicating when it's centered. In Google Draw, anytime you create a shape, it automatically fills it with this light blue color. So if you want to change that, you can just go up to the fill bucket and change it to white. And it's got a black outline. So now I'm thinking I would like to have the outline be blue also. So I can come up here to my border color and pick that blue color again. And I'm thinking that the border around the box is a little bit light. I'd like to make it a little heavier. So I'll do that one as a 2. Not quite as heavy as the outside of the Frayer model, but a little bit heavier than what it was. And now I'm done. I've created my Frayer model. It's finished. So now I need to convert it to an image. So I'm going to go to File, Download. And these are the 4 types of downloads you can do for Google Drive. You can make it a PDF, which isn't going to work with Google Slides. And then you have 3 image options. A JPEG would make the background white, so it won't be transparent. A PNG, that's your photo network graphic, that's going to make it transparent in the back. And then the scalable vector graphic, there aren't a lot of programs that work well with that, but basically I'll explain to you what it is. When you make something like this, no matter how big you stretch it, it won't pixelate. So that's what that is. So I usually suggest making a PNG from the Google Drawing template you make. So we're going to click on PNG and we'll save it. And now we're going to go back to our Google slide deck. We're going to go back to slide for edit the master. And we are going to insert that in the background of this slide. So choose my image. I got to go back because right now I'm in my Google Drive. So I need to go to upload because I downloaded it to my downloads file. So let's find that. Let's see, I probably passed it. Here it is. And now I have this as one of my slide types. So I go here and I can just click this and I can put in a title. I could even do that in Edit the Master if I was afraid that students were going to delete the directions or something. Maybe I have littles and they're not real experienced. I could put a text box or a title right here. So I could do a title placeholder and go right here. And then I could even, I think I can change what this says. Nope, I can't. It's a title placeholder. So what you would do is you would just put a text box. So let's delete this. Come on, there we go. So let's do a text box and that'll be our title. And then I'll do ribeye, maybe 36. And then I would definitely put the topic in my Edit the Master, not in the templates that I'm making, but the one that I made a copy from my template. So right now, if you're just making templates, you're not gonna put anything on the T-chart. You won't put anything here. When you make a copy of it, that's when you'll go in and add stuff like what I'm doing right now. So I would add a text box right here and center it. And the topic could be Fridays. So now when I go here, it's updated it because I edited the master. I could put a text box in here, or in Edit the Master, you could put a placeholder. Either one can be deleted. It doesn't matter how you do it. If you did go into Edit the Master and do a placeholder, let me show you what that looks like. So you would do a subtitle placeholder right here. Actually, let me move this down a little bit because you're going to have your sentence at the top of what you want them doing. So right here, it would say, like, describe this. A lot of times with Frayer models, you have, keep doing that. There we go. And then over here is give an example, give a non-example. You know, that's kind of typical for a Frayer model. So when you do this, you come over here, it has a box for them to start typing in. It's the same thing if you make a text box. I could start typing for sure. It's already got the size of the font. I could have changed it to be smaller when I was in Edit the Master, and they can start typing, but they can still delete this. So there's no way you can put a text box in there for them to automatically start typing that's undeletable, if that makes sense. So that's how you that's just basically how you create your own templates, how you make a slide presentation of all your graphic organizer type templates. And then the kids can just type over the top of everything. You can make them super interactive. I am going to put in the slide presentation this slide deck right here. I've presented at RCOE's boot camp and at our equity conference, and then I also presented in Downey. It's a slide presentation that I do for Google, and it's a bunch of NGSS lessons, lessons. And the session that it's my presentation is what it is. What it mostly is showing teachers how to edit the master, how to edit their slides for NGSS. So there's a primary NGSS lesson in there, there's an elementary lesson, there's a middle school lesson, and a high school lesson. Take them, copy and paste that, it becomes yours. Use the slides that you want just by copying them and pasting them into your slide presentation. You can change it. There are Bitmojis in there. You could just change the Bitmoji to yours. But I'll show you what it looks like. And this kind of brings me to the last thing that I want to show you, and that's how to insert GIFs and images. Well, an image is an image, right? The things that we were making were images. But here we have a GIF in here. It's a push and pull for elementary. So basically, it's a slide presentation that you present to the class, and they look at it and they think like, what's happening there? It's being pushed. And then they look here, it's being, well, when you see it, he's pulling the food out. And then when you look here, he's pushing himself on the skateboard. And then, you know, on and on. And then here, when you present it, it doesn't have the answer. It just has the wind, and the GIF is the background of the clouds moving. And then as the whole class discusses it and they decide that the wind is pushing the clouds, then this slides in because it's animated. But the one that I really wanted to show you is this one right here. So in Edit the Master, I went to jiffy.com, and there is a link in backgrounds on the one slide in the presentation. And I just typed in rolling clouds or rolling storm clouds. And so I put that image as the background, the GIF. Then I found a desert scape and I added it on top of the GIF. You have to do that in Edit the Master, because if you don't, this can accidentally be moved when the kids start moving things around. Then what I did was I went into the regular slide. I got out of Edit the Master, I added the slide, and I added these little icons. It's for the water cycle. And so the kids are gonna drag the icon and demonstrate the water cycle. And then this is a pile of arrows. So they take the arrow and turn it to show the directionality of the water cycle, and then they label it. So that's one way, one interactive slide idea. The reason why I gave you the slides is because maybe it'll help you think of something that you could do. If you're working with science, time-lapse videos are amazing. So how did I get the GIF in there? I'm gonna go to jiffy.com, and there's also tenor.com. They're both great sites. And when you're here, you type in what you're looking for. So I'm gonna type in storm and click enter. So now I'm in the search. These are all different videos of storms, right? Here's a thunderstorm. 6th grade does storms, different types of storms. So you could have one on each slide for the different types. This one's really cool. I can't save it in the search. I've searched, and these are my search results. I have to actually click on it, and I'll show you why. If I click on this and I save the image as, it saves it as a Google's web piece. That means it's gonna take them to this site. It is not a GIF. So what you have to do is you have to click on the image you want. Now you're in a platform where you can save it. You can tell because you have all of this. You don't wanna copy the link. You actually have to save the image as, and also it'll bring up more results like the one you're looking for. So you might find something better. So I'm gonna go ahead and right click and save the image as, I believe this is a hurricane. Oh, I've already saved it. It must be somewhere on my clipboard. Yes, I've used this before in demonstrations. So now I'm gonna go back to that slide deck that I was working and playing with. I'm gonna go to slide, edit the master. And I'm gonna find a blank slide and I'm gonna change that background. I'm gonna upload it because I saved it to my computer. In my downloads, here it is. Just wait. Is that awesome or what? And then I could put maybe a cityscape down here. So if I went to insert an image, search the web, oh, let me move the chat out of the way. And I type in cityscape PNG. Ooh, that's amazing. That's exactly what I was thinking. How did it know? Okay, so now I have this cityscape that I could put at the bottom. I'm just gonna stretch this out a bit. And then I'm gonna drop it down a little bit more. And now I have this amazing slide. So if I go over here and I insert that slide, this is something where I could have the students label the hurricane, the eye of the hurricane, the wall of the hurricane. And it just, I mean, it doesn't do anything other than make it super engaging and super cool. Much better than a worksheet with a picture of a hurricane. So any questions, you guys? That's basically all I have. And we're getting down to the wire on time. So I'm gonna put the KickUp code in the chat for you. And the link for KickUp, so KickUp link, KickUp link. And the code. And then I'll answer any questions you have. If you have anything specific you would like to try, I'll answer your questions. When you're linking to other Google Docs, even though you make this as each student gets their own copy, the docs that you link inside of it, they don't make their own copy, is what I'm trying to say. So what you have to do is when you put the link in your Google slide presentation, so for example, we'll use this one. Let's say I want the kids to go to this particular slide presentation within that slide presentation. So I want to make sure that anyone can view it. I'm in my personal account, so it doesn't say anyone at CNUSD with the link can view it, but that's what you want. So you want to make sure it's view, and then you copy the link and you go here. Let's say I'll insert another slide. We'll do this one, and I'm going to put right here. Oops, wow, my fingers were on that wrong key. Click here. When I paste this link, I'm going to use the shortcut key, Command K. When I paste the link, what I want to show you is, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this big. Yeah, all right. See this word edit? Even though it's view only, the word edit is in there so that you can edit. So we're going to change edit to the word copy. And what that does is it forces the student to make a copy of it. So then they get their own copy. They click on it, it says make a copy, and then they copy it. And it's in their drive, ready to go. So, okay, let me go back to normal size. So anytime you want the kids to click on this, so I'll demonstrate for you. So it shows them even what they're getting. This is what they get, make a copy. Now, the one thing you do have to tell them is just click on it once. You might say that because they're used to getting everything like right now, and it's not going to, and they're gonna click, 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 and they're gonna get copy, copy, copy. They're gonna get a lot of them. So, and it takes them right to it. Now they have their own copy in their drive. They can work on it, they can submit it. So anytime you're linking a Google Doc, make sure you change that link where it says edit to copy. Do we have any questions, guys? You're so quiet. Are you all still here? Tara, I'm gonna put the recording on the distance learning site. If you go there, all the Google Classroom, all the recordings from all the presentations are there. This morning I recorded my Cami, and now I'm recording this one. So these are my two newest sessions, so I'm gonna put them on there. So you will be able to find them there. So one more thing I want to show you, and this was asked in my last session. And if you've got to go. This is my last little tidbit. If you make a slide presentation and you want your students to just be able to view it, click links and see videos in it. It's not interactive. It's just for delivering instruction, just for delivering content. There is a way to change that link also. Let me show you how. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to change this link. So I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to change it. So again, we're going to go to that word edit. And I'm going to change it to preview. And when I do that, oh, I want to just go back. There we go. When I do that, this is what the kids get. They just get the presentation. And any links that are in here will work. They're all live. I don't even know if I have any links on the slides. I don't think I do. I can't really demonstrate that. But any videos, they can click on the links, they can click on the videos. It'll take them to another place. It all works. And then they're not seeing the speaker notes. They're not seeing the slides on the left. It all looks, just like a presentation. You could record yourself presenting content. So that's another little trick. There's one more trick for editing, and that one is template/preview. And when you do template/preview, that gives the kids the ability to, let me change it right here. So let's say you had a variety of Google graphic organizers. I can't talk and type at the same time. And you wanted them to be able to choose which graphic organizer they wanted. It allows them to see it first, preview it, and then here, that's just like making a copy. They just click use template, it makes them a copy of it, and it's right there in their drive. So those are the three hacks: changing edit to copy, preview, or template preview. You're welcome, you guys. You're welcome, Alyssa and Janelle. Again, I'll hang out if you want and answer questions. I'm going to go ahead now and stop the recording. So